Christy stepped off the plane at Incheon International Airport, her heart racing as the cold air hit her face and the Korean flag fluttered in the breeze. "I'm really here," she whispered, remembering Lagos and the countless dramas she had binge-watched, dreaming of a place like this. She was accepted as an exchange student at WI International Academy, one of Seoul's most elite high schools, and suddenly everything felt surreal. On the bus to the city, her eyes widened at towering buildings, neon signs, cherry blossoms swaying near rivers, and crowds of students rushing along the streets. At the dorm, her roommate barely acknowledged her. Buying bus money confused her, and small things at the cafeteria felt foreign. The next morning, dressed in the crisp navy skirt, blazer, and red tie, she took a deep breath and entered the main building, whispers slicing through the air. Who is she? Where's she from? Christy kept her gaze low, walking to class 2:1, only to feel a pair of eyes fix on her, Jason, sitting at the last row by the window, when she was told to sit beside him. Gasps filled the room. He looked at her coldly, unreadable, and pulled out her chair without a word. That was the moment everything changed. That night, whispers replayed in her mind, combined with the sterile quiet of her dorm. She barely slept. At breakfast, her roommate remained silent. She missed home, her mother's voice, the comfort of being surrounded by people who understood her. Still, she squared her shoulders, tied her red ribbon, and told herself, I didn't come this far to disappear. The next day, entering class 2:1, whispers grew louder, but Jason didn't even glance at her. She slid into her seat beside him, muttered, "Good morning," and received no response. The first class passed. At break, two girls approached, one sneering, "Do you think sitting next to Jason makes you special?" The other spat, "You're just an exchange student. Don't get ideas." They walked away, laughter trailing, and Christy clenched her fists. A soft voice beside her interrupted the tension. "You okay?" Emily, with shoulder-length hair and kind eyes, offered a small smile. "You can eat lunch with me if you want." "Ignore them." Relief washed over Christy. They shared sandwiches under cherry blossoms, laughing for the first time in Seoul. But in the background, Jason was ever present, silent, unreadable, a constant shadow of challenge. One afternoon, after class, Christy stayed behind on the rooftop to sketch the city skyline. Jason appeared too, staring out the window, his fingers trembling ever so slightly. Their eyes met briefly, tension crackling in the air. Moments like this became daily micro-battles, silent tests of endurance and curiosity. Then came the literature project, two-person presentation. Christy's heart sank as the teacher paired her with Jason. Dead silence. He didn't even nod, just open his notebook. They were to perform a poem about contrast, cold and warmth, loneliness and beauty. In the library, side by side but worlds apart, Christy suggested, we could act out the two voices. Jason corrected her, reading flatly, his calm tone almost mocking. Christy's cheeks flushed. "Just because everyone worships you doesn't mean you talk down to me," she snapped. Silence, then a tiny lift at his mouth. "You're not like the others." That was the first crack in their rivalry, respect, unwillingly given. They began working side by side day after day. Rooftop evenings became their stage. She sketched, he watched quietly. "You draw Seoul like you belong to it," he commented once. She blinked, startled. He studied her sketch of Namsan Tower at sunset, softening for a moment. "My mom used to paint before she left." Christy lowered her pencil, sharing her own story quietly. "My dad left too." Silence hung between them, understanding without words. The next day, a note appeared in her locker. "Stay away from Jason. You're embarrassing yourself." Whispers erupted again. But Christy's determination hardened. She walked into class, sat beside him, and he asked, "You okay?" Not cold, just human. That moment marked a shift, rivalry tinged with curiosity. At the school festival, she worked beside him at competing booths, laughter and teasing flying like sparks. Girls from other classes approached Jason, pretending to lose games for his attention. Christy's pulse quickened. Could she really compete with the expectations and whispers surrounding him? Fireworks lit the sky, casting their shadows across the garden stairs. Jason scrolled his phone, silent. Christy approached. "You're not watching the fireworks?" "I've seen enough explosions today," he replied. She challenged him verbally about the gossip, asking, "Do you care?" His pause was electric. "About them?"
No.
"About me?" "About what they say about me being near you." The brief silence that followed was enough to heighten the tension. Every glance, every step down the hall became a contest. Who would dominate the room? Who would break first? Every day was a mini cliffhanger. When Jason caught her off guard correcting a math problem, sparks flew. When she retorted cleverly in class, he raised an eyebrow. Their rivalry grew public. Whispers, stares, students speculating. Every interaction was layered with competition, subtle admiration, and rising curiosity. Would either of them crack first? Rooftop sessions became intense, silent duels of intellect and skill. One afternoon, Christy challenged him. "You're too confident." Jason smirked. "And you're too stubborn." A beat passed, tension thick. Could this rivalry tip into something else? Their micro-battles extended to shared projects, cafeteria seating, hallway encounters. Small victories, a perfect answer in class, a witty remark in the library, fueled the rivalry and kept every second suspenseful. Over time, unspoken respect emerged. Jason began acknowledging her intelligence subtly, offering a nod when she aced a problem. Christy noticed, tension shifting slightly into fascination. Every student watching felt the charged atmosphere. Two rivals circling, testing boundaries, silently daring each other to break first. Moments of near contact, reaching for the same book, standing shoulder to shoulder under the cherry blossoms, made hearts pound. Even small gestures, like him correcting her pronunciation or sharing his notes, were layered with subtle tension. The story climaxed at a school-wide competition. Both were forced to work together, their rivalry turning public. Whispers erupted. Students bet on who would win. Christy held her ground. Jason couldn't hide his admiration. Side by side, performing flawlessly under pressure, they realized their battles had sharpened them, and the rivalry had transformed into something more complex. Mutual respect, curiosity, and a hint of admiration neither would admit. The day ended with fireworks, the crowd watching. Christy and Jason stood apart for a moment, breathing heavily from excitement and adrenaline. Their rivalry had captivated the school, but for them, a deeper connection had formed, charged with every glance, every verbal spar, every micro-challenge. The final beat. As students dispersed, Christy caught Jason's eye and dared a smirk. He returned it with one of his rare, real smiles, the unspoken tension thick in the air. The story promised more duels, more challenges, and the subtle evolution of rivals into something more.